All right. Welcome, everybody, back to the Reviewing All Comers podcast here. Thank you for joining us as we begin episode 7 here. And today we are covering ECW Guilty as Charged 1999, as voted on by you. And this was an interesting show. But without further ado, let me introduce the man who is my esteemed co-host and colleague. That would be Mr. Jared Weathers. Jared, are you with me? There he
Hello.
is. Hey, how's it going? You excited to get back in on some ECW today?
I am. I love ECW so much. Like this is. Oh, I'm excited to talk about it. Ooh.
Yes, sir. So this show happened at the top of 1999. It happened from the Millennium Theater in, excuse me if I butcher the name, but I'm pretty sure it's Kissimmee, Florida. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it.
I believe so. Kissimmee, Florida. Yeah.
Yep, Kissimmee. And this show, like I said earlier, it's a very interesting show. A lot happening here, but we get started. We kick off at the top of the show with the man himself, Paul Heyman, introducing everybody to the show and saying that, there has to be some changes on this card. Unlike other promotions, ECW doesn't half-ass it. They don't apologize for who they are. They always want to deliver for the fans. They say that Masato Tanaka cannot fly in from Japan to take on RVD later in the night. And also that I believe Jerry Lynn is still suffering from some sort of injury. So he's not going to be on this card as well. But ECW always does its best to deliver and give the best matchup absolutely possible for the fans. And we'll see that later in the card. I think they did a good job finding replacements for those two in their respective matches, as we'll talk about who replaces them upcoming. Pretty sure he does mention, actually, though, that replacing Mr. Masato Tanaka later in the co-main event against, not the co-main event, excuse me, the match against Lance Storm. And here I go butchering stuff. The match against RVD for the TV title, replacing Tanaka, is Lance Storm. Just jumping ahead of myself there.
A little bit.
But now, after Paul E says that, we get the, as always, exciting ECW intro. The awesome music, great clips of some of the highlights from ECW. And then we go in ring to Joey Styles. Also welcoming everybody to Guilty as Charged. And then we have our first match. Now, the first match, to me, is one of the ECW hallmarks, one of their legendary concepts at the time, because they didn't call it a triple threat or nothing like that, but it was a three-way dance. But it doesn't start off that way. At the start of the show, we get a tag team match as we see Amish Roadkill and Dangerous Danny Doring taking on the Full-Blooded Italians in a tag team match. And the FBI come out in full force. The guys competing for the FBI are Little Guido and Tracy Smothers. And they're joined out there by NWA wrestling legend in my mind, and a lot of fans. They're calling him the Don, Tommy Rich. He was known as Wildfire, though, too, in the NWA, and a couple other big guys out there, members of the FBI, kind of like bouncer type big guys. So this match gets kicked off, and it starts off as a tag match. But I mean, they don't do a whole lot of action before they're interrupted. And out comes the hardcore chair swinging maniacs, aka Boss Mahoney and Axel Rotten. they get on the mic and say, referee, if it's okay with you, we want to give these fans a better show. They pretty much put down the talent in the ring. They say, this looks like some type of gay dance party or something to us. Something along those lines. And then they say, well, we're going to make it interesting, essentially. And they're going to join in and make it a three-way dance. And they do. The ref's just like, yep, get in here, let's go. And so then we get our official match. And it becomes a three-way elimination tag team match. So we have some wrestling here. There's chaos, to me, essentially all over the place. I mean, there's action in and out of the ring. Kind of hard to keep up with at first, but it's a decent little opener to me. I mean, what happens is basically the FBI eliminate Doring and Roadkill after the Dawn. Tommy Rich gets involved and pushes Doring off the top rope, I believe. And then you have basically Little Guido eliminates Danny Doring right there via pinfall. And then it comes down to the FBI and Balls and Axel Rotten. And pretty cool spot, I think, to end the match when Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten hit like dual power slams to eliminate the FBI there. So the hardcore chair swinging maniacs come out on top here. That's about average for an opener. I'm going to go ahead and rate this one a 5 out of 10. I mean, and I might be a little nice there because the action was kind of everywhere. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. Jared, what did you think about it?
So I really like this match. I knew who the FBI was from watching a little bit of ECW. I didn't know who Roadkill was, or I knew Danny Doring because I did a little research on him. But I was like, all right, here we go. Well, it's not too bad. And but then Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney show up, and I'm like, fix the camera. I was like, man, this is business is picking up.
Yeah.
They joined the match, and we were off to the races, man. I absolutely loved this match.
Okay.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
All right.
I said it was a good match. I really enjoy Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten doing their chair swing and stuff.
Yeah, and I should mention at the end there was a huge pop for those two. Well, I would call it a huge pop to start the show, at least, because at the end of the match, the two big guys from the FBI, and their names are eluding me right now. You'd probably look them up. I wanted to say one of them was like Big John or something like that. And then the other guy, the two pretty much bouncers for the FBI get in there and try to take swings at Balls and Axel, and they end up with a good old chair shot to the head back then. And they zoom in on the chairs, and Balls and Axel each dented their chair with the skulls of the FBI members, which was a fun little spot. And we're off to the races, as you said, Jared. So that's the opener. And then after that, I made a slight note here in my notes that Terry Funk cuts a quick little promo.
It does.
And it's a very intense promo. He's talking about his old man before he gets to his main point here. His old man had an issue with
a donkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And he ended up slitting the donkey's throat, putting the donkey down. And then he shifts gears and says, I'm going to do that to you, essentially. Tommy Dreamer, he's not going to literally murder him, but he's like, I'm going to put you down. I'm really going to hurt you, Tommy Dreamer, for what you did to me. And this all stems from the storyline that Terry Funk looked at Tommy Dreamer like a son almost like a protege. And then Tommy Dreamer picked Jake the Snake Roberts as his tag team partner and stabbed Terry Funk in the back or in his heart. And then Terry Funk goes livid, goes crazy, says he's going to get payback, get revenge, make Dreamer's life hell. and eventually gets to the point also of telling the TV/camera crew to get the F out of his locker room. He goes off, classic Terry Funk, like that promo. Was going to mention that real fast. Then we shift back to match number 2. And this is where I get excited because in a previous review, we also had a match between these two. But this is super, super cool to me. Now, I was talking a little bit about this in messages, actually, to Jake a little bit, too. Sadly, Jake can't join us tonight. But, you know, it's all right.
It's all right.
He'll be back with us soon.
Mm-hmm.
But we get Super Crazy versus Yoshihiro Tajiri. And this is the first time that Tajiri is making his ECW pay-per-view appearance or debut. So I had just a few notes here on a little bit of the action. These two go balls to the wall, fast-paced action, a great introduction. Tajiri has an interesting look here. It's not the Tajiri a lot of people are familiar with from WWE, with the, cool, like, full black pants and, like, the dragon on the pants, and the mist Tajiri, all that. This is a very young Tajiri. Very, very young Tajiri. Top of 1999. He's wearing, like, these blue trunks. And he's, you would think, like, okay, this is his pay-per-view appearance for ECW. He's going to be kind of green. I didn't see any rust on him at all. He wasn't green at all. And Super Crazy is very, very talented and underrated at this point, too. So these two go back and forth. Both look golden, I feel like. I have here in my notes one crazy spot is I noticed how fluid the submissions looked. Like, for example, Tajiri puts in his signature tarantula. And he also, at one point, gets Super Crazy in this amazing heel hook. And I think it looks so good. And then also, Super Crazy had some great spots, too. He hit, like, a guardrail moonsault to where he, like, jumped up. And there was no padding. Classic ECW, no padding in this arena. There's concrete floor below. Man up, take the bump. And they did a lot of, like, high-flying stuff, outside action, too. Not just in the ring, great stuff. So Super Crazy also hit some high-flying moves, and he stretched him pretty good with it was a submission where it was almost like a surfboard, but it was like a dragon sleeper too. Or he put him in that. I thought that was pretty good. Basically, this match ends up though. Tajiri gets him kind of on his back, and then he does like a tilt-a-whirl kind of move that sets up a dragon suplex for the 1, 2, 3. Tajiri is your winner. I thought this match was amazing. I give it a 9 out of 10. It really got my attention after the opener, which the opener did its job. It was a great intro to the ECW show. I mean, but this really is where things start to pick up in the show. I think this is one of the best matches on the card. Jared, what do you think about it?
So, I also really liked this match. When Tajiri came out, I was like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
I was not used to seeing him like that. His hair's not crazy. He's, doesn't look insane. He just looks like a regular person, like a regular wrestler coming out.
Right.
And I'm like, who's that guy? They're like, Yoshihiro Tajiri. I'm like, no. What? That's not Tajiri. Yep. What?
Oh, yeah.
I did like Super Crazy. He did have ECW on the back of his tights. I know he did in this era. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Super Crazy. It's kind of hard not to be, quite honest.
Yeah.
I gave this match an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
So pretty close. I liked it. I think it was missing the Tajiri we all came to know and love, with the black pants and the the crazy eyes and everything. But no, it was a great match. Great second match on the card, and it like you said, it really picks up steam after this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a very fun match. Really, I think it's up there in the annals of wonderful. I'm not really going to call it lucha or cruiserweight action, but I mean ECW had some great matches and great kind of trilogies, or not exactly trilogies, but I'm going to say a series of matches between competitors, and this was the first time Tajiri was seen on an ECW pay-per-view.
I would put this Tajiri and Super Crazy series with the Benoit Guerrero stuff they did a few years before this.
Mm-hmm. And you also had Bray, Mysterio, and Psychosis had some matches in ECW too. Worth mentioning there. But after that match, we go on. We have an interesting little third match on the card. John Cronus. I mean, like, as soon as that match is over, we kick straight into the next match.
Yeah. Like, Tajiri's walking to the back and Cronus comes out.
Yep, John Cronus comes out. That's right. One half of the Eliminators, as ECW fans are aware of, him and Saturn, very talented tag team. But at this point, Saturn had moved on to WCW. So Cronus was just kind of by himself. Cronus was a very good athlete, though.
Yeah.
And could work solid matches. But at this point, he didn't really have anything going on for him. So the storyline was he had hit a 450 splash on Judge Jeff Jones leading up to this, pissing off Judge Jeff Jones. And then at the pay-per-view, we were in for a surprise. We just didn't know who was coming out to fight on behalf of Judge Jeff Jones and just throw Cronus around. Essentially what would happen. And Judge Jeff Jones says, he finds him guilty as charged, recurring theme, for that crime against him leading up to this. And then he introduces the man. And out comes Sid Vicious. And in my head, I'm thinking, growing up, keeping up with a lot of WCW, I know Sid Vicious as he used to call himself the man that rules the world. Yeah. And he'd always say, "Who's the man?" He came out and kind of did his gimmick. He comes out in this cool looking blue jean attire, like he's dressed up for a street fight almost. Liked his attire here. Basically, he comes out, hops in the ring real fast, and it turns into a squash. But there are some really good spots before the squash happens. Cronus doesn't get virtually no offense in. He gets nothing in. But Sid Vicious hits him with a crazy choke slam out of the ring through a table right there at ringside. Hits him with a headshot from a steel chair. Just kind of roughhouses him. Takes him to the woodshed, hits a couple power moves. Then the fans are calling for a power bomb. He gets him back in the ring, power bombs him, gets the 1, 2, 3. So a squash and Sid Vicious's ECW debut here, which I thought was pretty fascinating. While it was a squash, I do feel like there are serviceable squashes here, and I might not be the biggest fan of squash matches, but I did feel some excitement here. Enough to actually warrant a rating for me. I'm going to give it, on a scale of 10, kind of higher than what I do most squashes. I'm going to give it actually a 7, because the crowd kind of amped me up for this one, and I'm not even the biggest Sid Vicious guy, but I thought it was cool to see him on ECW. So, Jared, what were your thoughts on this debut?
I wasn't sure what to think of when Judge Jones there. Was talking about someone new debuting. I'm like, oh god, here we go. It's gonna be something stupid. I just feel like it's gonna be something stupid. And Justin, please let me tell you something, okay? I fucking popped. Oh. I popped so fucking hard.
Okay.
When Sid Vicious came out, I'm like, it's just one of those things you're not expecting, So I'm like, I just popped. I was like I'm not a huge Sid fan either, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But when he came out, I was like over the fucking moon.
And so was the audience at this time, because I think going into 2000, and I think WCW eventually realized this too when they brought him back and put him in the world title picture, and he won the world title even back with when he went
twice,
back.
I think.
Hey, Sid had a lot of buzz around him still. He was a star at this time. So good acquisition at the time. I know it didn't pan out in the grand scheme of things, but it was cool. So cool when you see guys like Sid Vicious roll through ECW, you know. And I know you have some of the ECW purists who are like, you know, he's not fully one of us. We didn't make him. But you got to take whenever you can get a big star around the time, you know. And I think Paul Heyman knows that too.
And I think this is after he broke his leg too.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is his comeback after he broke his leg doing the
mid rope jump or whatever.
Yeah, he was trying to do a big boot and he landed wrong and broke his leg.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is his comeback from that.
Yeah, I'm wanting to say that it's definitely around the same time period.
Yeah. It is, yes. I want to say that's it. I can't say for sure. But my rating for this, this might be a recurring theme, is 9 out of 10. It's 9 out of 10. I got a huge pop from that. I liked it a lot. I'm with you on squash matches. They're not always good, but they sometimes they are serviceable thing.
Yeah.
For getting people over. So
Oh,
squashing someone like John Cronus in such a short period of time, as one of the. I mean, he's pretty over at this time. He comes out huge pop from the crowd.
Yeah.
So squashing someone like that, I think really builds up Sid going forward.
Yeah. After this match, this is where some heat occurs. And one of the craziest, you go back and listen to old school ECW promos like this now, and, you kind of laugh at it. I mean, I don't take it as a joke or anything, because I like to put myself in the crowd in 1999, hearing this guy say this kind of stuff live.
Yeah.
And who I'm referring to is Joel Gertner on behalf of the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
And he comes out they're in Florida, and it's of course Bubba and Devon who are wrestling, and they've also got Sign Guy Dudley with them. Yeah. And I gotta say it, he's one of my favorite Dudley Boys, Big Dick Dudley. In the ring, they're managing them, and there's Joel Gertner out there too. And man, when they get a mic, every single one of them really, but especially I would say Joel Gertner and then Bubba Ray Dudley, they know how to evoke heat and get that crowd riled up. So Joel Gertner starts saying stuff like, he's every woman's dream. Basically, he could have sex with just about anything, including beloved Disney characters like
like say Snow White or something.
I think it was Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse,
and then one of the duck characters. Not was it not Daffy, but there's another type of duck.
I think it was Donald Duck's girlfriend, right?
Right. Yeah.
Daisy, I think.
Yeah. And it's wild to hear this, and he's putting over himself big time in the Dudleys, and he's really good on the mic, underrated.
Yes, I agree.
So he's putting over himself in the Dudleys big time. The crowd's getting pissed, and they're wanting somebody to stop the Dudleys, because the Dudleys claim that they're the best tag team, not just in ECW, but all professional wrestling. They beat everybody coming and going. Nobody's going to stop them, essentially.
They run down the list of everyone they beat. Every single team.
Yeah. I thought that was an excellent promo work by every single one of them that spoke. Not just Joel Gertner, but you had Devon speak a little bit. Bubba. Sign guy, of course, that's his gimmick. He holds up the sign. He doesn't really speak.
That's right. Doesn't talk. He shows you. Yeah.
But
you have to read it.
Yeah.
And he just stands there with a smile.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah. See, I love seeing the originality of characters and the Dudleys in ECW because people don't realize how much heat they really. Yeah.
How much heat they got and how diverse the Dudleys
first started. Because when you say Dudley Boys, you think, oh yeah, 3D, get the tables, the WWF stuff, like kind of faces. Well, I mean, they morphed into faces later. They were still doing crazy stuff like in the WWF, like powerbombing Mae Young off stages and all that. But so anyway. So they get cut off. Well, actually, they issue an open challenge to any tag team back there.
Any tag team at all.
Yeah. And of course, open challenge. Who's going to answer the call on ECW?
New Jack.
Boy New Jack. Rest in peace, New Jack.
Oh, God, we miss you, New Jack.
Yeah. Also, before we get into this match, also from earlier, rest in peace, Tracy Smothers from the Full-Blooded Italians around too. So,
of course.
Some losses in the wrestling community since we're covering ECW here, but it was crazy about the New Jack news. But
I know. I couldn't believe it.
It's not just New Jack, but he's got a partner. And if it is the little lunatic himself, Spike Dudley.
That's right.
And he's dressed up like New Jack is the kicker in all this.
He is, yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And this turns into a Dudleyville street fight. And I thought they wrestled all over the place in the first match. Well, they go even more all over the place, like up and down the stage. And,
they're going into the crowd.
Yeah, into the crowd. Like Spike does his Bubba like gorilla press slam.
Oh yeah, he throws them into the crowd.
Into the crowd, the Spike spot.
So funny.
Yeah. So a lot of good stuff here. Just if you're a fan of hardcore style wrestling and just like at the time, this was for the bloodthirsty fans. Of course, New Jack being involved.
Of course.
There's going to be blade jobs, here, and
I do want to get. So yeah, we know hardcore. What is your opinion on the closing promo for the match?
The closing promo? You mean after the Dudleys win?
Yeah, so after they win, and they just keep beating up New Jack, and they just keep talking about how great they are.
Yeah. I mean, they really just drove home their point. I liked it.
They did.
At this time, their promo work was, whether it was before a match or even just in a segment, no match involved, the Dudleys and the heat they got, really, you can't say enough about it. It was great. I think they were probably the top heels. Even more so than Shane Douglas at the time. Mm-hmm. The amount of heat they really got.
I did. So I don't know if you heard about the Peacock, editing stuff. I do think it's funny. Everyone's complaining about the editing stuff. They left all those swear words in.
Yeah, they did. Dude,
they said fuck like 1,000 times, and it's just all there.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes nobody really remembers how savage the Dudley Boys really were.
Yeah.
ECW Dudley Boys, man. Just no filter.
He's like, get the fuck off me, and punches New Jack in the fucking nose.
Yeah.
It's like, get off.
I'm surprised New Jack didn't get up and try to legitimately beat somebody's ass, though.
I know.
But yeah, some good spots here. I really like the 3D on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up, the finish of the match was a 3D in the ring on Spike Dudley after they brawled for several minutes.
Spike hit 3 acid drops.
Oh, yeah, and he even hit one on Big Dick Dudley.
Even though he really wasn't doing anything. It's like, I get you, we'll get one too.
Yeah. To their credit, New Jack and Spike also fought from interference from, Gertner a little bit, Big Dick Dudley, sign guy. Basically, it was almost like a 5-on-2, but the Dudleys still bested them. They neutralized New Jack, and then they singled out Spike Dudley in the ring, got him with the 3D, the Dudley Death Drop. This one was fun. It's going to get another good rating from me. I'm going to give it I probably could go a little higher on this, because I enjoyed watching it. To some, they don't like. There's some people who, when they review stuff, they like linear action and they like their eyes to be on one specific place, I guess, in the arena. They don't like to go back and forth. And ECW had interesting camera work, so they would go back. They would go back and forth in an interesting way. But I thought this was fun. It gets a 7 out of 10 for me.
I obviously, we were just talking about it. I love this match a lot. I'm a huge fan of the Dudleys, even back then. Spike and New Jack, all of them.
Yeah.
Like them a lot. Like I said, the last rating might repeat a little bit. I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna give all the ratings out right now, but I'm just gonna tell you this is probably my highest rated show so far.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, like, I don't know. I know a lot of people like, well, story. Well, not every story needs to be, linear like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I like, obviously I'm a hardcore fan. I like hardcore. So if it's gonna be something fun like this, I'm down. I'm here for it.
Well, I think sometimes, as wrestling fans, we are spoiled and we are used to some of our favorite wrestling shows in our heads. Good memories that were made, and we always like to play the compare game and everything. When we can't just kind of simplify it and say, okay, this took place back like at the start of 1999.
Yep.
You can't put yourself in the fan of or in the shoes of a fan at that time and say, okay, for what was going on in 1999, and for just simply immersing yourself in the ECW universe at this time for what was going on. People just don't know how to sit down and enjoy a show really anymore. Yeah. It's not that hard really when you just want to sit down and watch some cool ECW wrestling,
blood and gore
promotion.
Yeah.
So when you're reviewing stuff, I feel like you have to have this mentality. It's like, yeah, sure, take it seriously if you have your podcast or whatever way you want to express your thoughts on a show, but really, like, don't take it to the point where you have to compare everything to your favorite show only or favorite promotion only.
Yeah, that's why I do all these shows like WWE, WWF, ECW, TNA, all these different promotions, and really try to get a different perspective on like what's happening then, what's happening now. I mean, you can compare and contrast, but like you said, this took place at the beginning of 1999, and either you put yourself in those shoes or you just like that kind of wrestling. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah. After this match, we have 3 more matches to go. And they're solid 3 matches. I like the position these last 3 were put on the card. Match number 5 here, we see Lance Storm with Don Marie, who is replacing Masato Tanaka for a shot at the ECW television title at the time, and the man who's synonymous with the ECW television title, the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam, with Bill Alfonso. Now, this match was even more high-flying, I feel like, at times, just by a little bit, than the Tajiri Super Crazy match. I feel like the Tajiri Super Crazy match was a little more technical than this match.
Yeah.
But with Lance Storm and RVD, you have 2 workhorses here at this time. Great replacement where Tanaka couldn't make it from Japan to fight RVD. That would have been a fun match too. But for what it was worth, this match gets kicked off. We see some interference from Bill Alfonso early, and he makes it known that he's going to play a little bit of a factor in this match. RVD capitalizes with his iconic kind of ringside guillotine leg drop. Like Lance Storm, because Alfonso chases around Don Marie a little bit outside. Alfonso's causing trouble and trying to grab at Lance Storm's foot and trip him up at times, get him distracted, get him off his neck against RVD. And I don't know what it was about this match, but Lance Storm and RVD both had good spots and worked with each other well. They even went into the crowd and did some interesting spots in this one. I remember Lance Storm hit like an inverted DDT on the concrete in the crowd. It's pretty cool to see. And ECW just had that gritty atmosphere with the crowd all around, and they're all chanting ECW, And RVD, I always like how he would break the fourth wall a little bit and talk to the camera, but he looked out of it for a minute. I don't know if it was – I felt a little tension in this match. I don't know if there was heat between Lance Storm and RVD at the time, but to me it seemed a little bit like RVD was maybe no-selling Lance Storm's stuff a little bit. Because, I don't know if you noticed watching this match, but Lance Storm would do something or hit something, and, even it'd be like a suicide dive or an outside dive, and then RVD would be up within 15, 20 seconds.
I did notice that, and I did. I guess I really didn't really think of anything of it.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, RVD at this point is, to me, pound for pound, the best athlete in the game. Across the board. But still, you got to sell a little bit, brother. I'm not talking HBK Hogan SummerSlam sale, but you got to sell a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the only issue I had with this match. Other than that, great stuff. And it actually didn't end with a 5-star frog splash, as Lance Storm moved out of the way of it. And I liked the finish. It was fluid. It was a German suplex, actually.
Yeah.
And I know when people hear the word, at least German suplex, nowadays you think of Suplex City and Brock Lesnar and all.
Brock Lesnar.
But a German, that's a legitimate finish. That's a great move. You're landing somebody right on.
If you hit it once and they pin them. Now, if you hit it 20 times and it never gets the guy down.
Right.
Rock.
You're dropping somebody right on that spinal cord, obviously, right on the back of their neck. Anything can go wrong on a German, but the German suplex bridge pin, great move. And RVD wins a very athletic, ton of high spots in this match. I thought this was probably overall. I don't know how you would rank the matches. We still got 2 more to go, but besides the Tajiri and Super Crazy match, I enjoyed this one the most. This one is actually going to get an 8.5 from me, slightly below Super Crazy and Tajiri, but solid all around. Great match. Spots were fun. Managers made it interesting. Alfonso more so made it interesting. Don Marie wasn't as much of a factor.
I agree with everything you said. It's a great match. I did like the crowd stuff, which we got a lot of in the show, which is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But no, it was great. Bill Alfonso, probably one of the best managers I've seen in wrestling.
Yeah.
He doesn't really talk much. He's more of just a hype man, which is nice to see. A little different.
Right. And what's crazy is RVD and Sabu didn't even really need – Sabu more so than RVD needed a hot man.
Yeah.
But RVD didn't even exactly need a hot man. But, man, when you're managing Sabu and RVD, you better be a good manager.
Yeah. And if with a really bad manager, that whole thing could have crumbled within a week.
Oh, yeah.
So, so I gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. Another one I really liked. I'm obviously a huge RVD mark, huge Lance Storm mark. Love both those guys. I really hope that we can review the Un-Americans little stable.
Oh yeah,
that'd be really fun.
Christian Test and Lance Storm, right?
Yeah.
In WWF, well, at that point it was morphing into WWE.
Yeah,
yeah, that was post-invasion angle, wasn't it, too? When they were all together in the WWE.
I think so. So it'd be like 2002. Man, 2002.
I gotta admit, and this is not just real fast, before we get into the next match, just speaking, RVD's RVD.
Mm-hmm.
RVD's a legend. Hall of Famer. RVD.
From my home state of Michigan.
That's right. Speaking of which, in terms of you, where is Battle Creek compared to like where you are?
So Battle Creek is more down here by Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Detroit's like down here, almost in the thumb, and Battle Creek, I believe, is like right here. I think it's like right above it.
That's always one of the coolest like places I thought that you could be billed from. Battle Creek, Michigan. Like growing up.
And just so everyone knows, I live up here in the Big D. That's where I live.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool how like when I see you do the fist thing, I think of the Motor City Machine Guns too, because from
I know, yeah, because they're from Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool.
I love that I live in a hand and I can just do this and show people where. By the way, there's actually a city down here called Paradise. Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff, but
I have Paradise. What is it? Paradise, Hell, Christmas. I can't remember. There's like 4 different, like just random fucking names for towns.
But yeah, big fan of both these guys as well. Lance Storm. Like, I think Lance Storm deserves to be talked about more. Like, I was a fan of Lance Storm when he was tag teaming with Jericho.
Okay.
Around my neck of the woods. Well, Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Yeah. It's around there. Tennessee. Oh, is it Knoxville?
Yeah, Tennessee, Virginia a little bit. I mean, they went through the Carolinas a little bit too. Smoky Mountain Wrestling was fun, and they were the Thrill Seekers. It was Storm and Jericho as an exciting young tag team. Both of them.
That's what we had to review some Smoky Mountain stuff.
Oh yeah, like New Jack, like.
Oh
God,
God!
Smoky Mountain too was really good. Him and Mustafa.
Yeah. The gangsters.
That's right. But yeah, Smoky Mountain's some fun stuff. But yeah, I was just giving Lance Storm some credit there.
Mm-hmm.
Solid, great worker.
Yes.
Just like RVD. RVD's a legend.
Did you hear why Vince McMahon didn't like Lance Storm?
Not fully. Like, a little bit, but not fully. No, I don't
He thought he was boring.
Because Vince is the big man king. He thinks if you're not a certain height and certain weight in the heavyweight division or above, and Vince, if he doesn't think that you're exciting and they can't put a gimmick on you, like, look what he did to the Revival, or what they were the gimmicks they were trying to slap on the Revival before they left, for example. There's just some stuff that you can't take a guy like Lance Storm, put him in a creative box and say, you're nothing but this gimmick now, pal. Like, stop doing the single-leg crab. Stop wrestling the way you've been wrestling for years. And you strip away.
And talk more. He doesn't talk. Like, that's his whole thing. He's straight-faced, very bland kind of wrestler on the outside. Then when he gets into the ring, he's explosive. You know, he's a very technical wrestler.
Can hold his own with about anybody.
Yeah, and Vince didn't like that. He didn't talk.
Yeah.
And no expressions. Very straight-faced person.
Other than, obviously, he had the Canada's greatest export type thing going on for him, especially in ECW. But I always loved, real fast before we get into the next match, speaking on Storm, if I could be serious, you know, his famous quote from WCW is, I always enjoyed Lance Storm. I was just throwing that point out there. So, in terms of a replacement for Tanaka on this show to go up against RVD, excellent pick.
I agree.
And now we're on our last 2 matches, the co-main event and then the main event. This next match, is now going back to that Terry Funk promo. We'll see that come to fruition here in a minute. This is dubbed a Stairway to Hell match, which is essentially a ladder match. They put the ladder on the stage. Actually, Tommy Dreamer brings it out with him in his entrance.
He does, yeah. He sets it up.
Mm-hmm. And what this match is works the same way as the ladder match, but the match does not end when you grab what's on the hanging above the ladder, which is a Singapore cane.
Yes.
Iconic weapon of not just the Sandman, but just incredible.
And Tommy Dreamer.
Yes. The Singapore cane really helped Dreamer's character. Like,
it really did. Yeah, it still does in his House of Hardcore that I don't know if he's going to do it again, but
Yeah.
he did, yeah.
So we see Tommy Dreamer versus Justin Credible here. And Justin Credible has a few people with him. He has Jason, he has a young Jazz, and he has Nicole Bass with him. And she's out here on the reminds you a lot of China. Very jacked up.
Very, very tall.
Very tall, wouldn't mess with her. Kind of the muscle. Justin Credible's got some muscle behind him here. And Dreamer fighting the odds. Dreamer's
as always, the underdog.
The lovable underdog hero of ECW, Mr. ECW, really, besides RVD, Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, true.
Let's see a good little match here. And what I liked about this match was not everything revolved around ladder spots. It goes to show, I wrote in my notes here that these two actually in a ladder match, yeah, there were hardcore spots, but it didn't always revolve around using weapons, which they did have some weapon usage in it, and they had some ladder spots, but they didn't always have to go outside the ring and fight over the ladder or jump off the ladder and do ladder-related spots. They worked well with each other. Each got to hit some of their signature moves, which we didn't see, like, the Dreamer Driver, and then, Credible had some help from, of course, his managers. These two fought all around the ring, inside the ring. I think these two had a good chemistry with each other. They worked well with each other. They fed off each other. It's a good match when somebody can, know what you're going to. I felt like the chemistry between these two, I could kind of put myself in Dreamer shoes or Credible shoes. And, I know it's weird as a wrestling fan to hear this and be like, well, you're not Tommy Dreamer or you're not Justin Credible, but I felt like I knew what each one was going to do next. And that's a good chemistry.
I agree.
So basically what this boils down to is Tommy Dreamer is the one to actually – they have these great spots, by the way, in the match too, and I got to mention the cutter off the ladder. It's like an RKO type. Dreamer gives him a cutter off the ladder. They set up two ladders, and then Credible's climbing up one side and Dreamer's climbing up the other. And instead of doing superplex off the top or just push
him off.
Yeah, or push him off, they hit a nice cutter spot in the middle of the ring, and it gets a good pop. And then eventually, towards the end of this match, Dreamer climbs up the ladder, retrieves the Singapore cane, and just when it looks like Dreamer's going to defy the odds and beat Justin Credible here, out comes the old funker himself, Terry Funk, with a trash can. And Dreamer turns right around into a big trash can, shot to the head, and Justin Credible ends up grabbing the Singapore cane. Dreamer drops, hits Dreamer in the head with the Singapore cane. Then he hits him with the Justin Credible Tombstone Pile Driver on the ladder. I really like that finish. On the ladder for the 1, 2, 3. Justin Credible defeats Tommy Dreamer here. Give the assist not only to all of his managers throughout the match a little bit, but Terry Funk. So then they beat the hell out of Dreamer, like everybody. Terry Funk's more. Justin Credible. And that's that. But with that being said, I thought this match was good. I wouldn't exactly say that it was the best match on the card. I'm going to rate it out of 10. I'm going to say it's probably a 7.5, probably a 7.5 out of 10. Good. Another good match on the card, but not exactly one of the better ones on the card. Co-main event spot because of Tommy Dreamer and Justin Credible. But I'm going to give it a 7.5 like I've been saying.
We're gonna be closer in this rating. So I like this match. I do not like the Tommy Dreamer spot where he runs into a chair the wrong way. It's every time I see it, it hurts me physically.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I thought about bringing up that spot, but I was like, maybe Jared will hit on it. I have a feeling that Jared's going to hit on this chair spot a little bit.
I hate that spot. When I first saw that back in 2015 when he came back with the Dudley Boys and stuff.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that it was a botch. Like, oh shit, they did the wrong way. And then learning about Tommy Dreamer, I'm like, oh no, that's just a spot he does.
Right.
Like,
and there was also a spot where it was another chair spot kind of where Justin Credible hit the chair right because it's kind of wedged on the turnbuckle, but like Tommy Dreamer throws him off the ladder, and then I don't know, it looked kind of awkward. Like when he's coming down off the ladder, like he intentionally, like Justin Credible leans into the chair, hits the chair on the turnbuckle. I don't know. I just hate it when it looks like somebody either jumps too much, whether it be for like a choke slam or somebody like way too much. Like you can tell somebody's making the other guy look like Superman or something when they're coming off a ladder or jumping for somebody. That's one of the spots that grinds my gears too, and it involved the chair too. So I'll mention that one since you. But definitely hitting the chair the wrong way. I get why you feel the way you do there.
And I hate that so much. But yeah, so I gave this match an 8 out of 10. Great story, harkening back to the Terry Funk, as I know you mentioned that Terry Funk promo from earlier in the show, which is the only promo we get, like a backstage promo on the show. The only other one I think is the Dudleys. Oh, I guess the Judge too. But
before the main event too, this guy comes in Taz's locker room and interviews him next before.
But that's not really a promo. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat him," and then like tells him to get out.
Yeah, Taz doesn't say much here.
No.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna do what I do and beat the shit out of Shane Douglas here, and
exactly
come out with the world title because.
Shane Douglas has a pretty good promo.
He does
on the show.
He's sitting back there with Francine, and talking about how he's become the franchise.
How he was the first one to be the ECW champion after stomping on the NWA championship.
And he's proved time and time again that he's the man around here. And Taz, you're going to have to about kill him to beat him for the world title.
Yeah.
But yet you can still see that Shane Douglas is a little insecure here because he, like at the end of the promo, and I like this touch to his character. He looks at Francine and goes, "Right? Everything he just said, right?
Right? Yes."
And she goes, "Yes, Shane, right."
She's like,
and she's sitting over there in her makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, I guess. Stop talking to me."
Yeah. So you can kind of see cracks in the triple threat here, which we'll get to too towards as we morph into the main event here. So now, of course, it's time for the main event. We have Taz, who, may I mention in the video promo package, I found it interesting. I loved this ECW storyline writing real fast because he gave Sabu 3 receipts they were talking about. Joey Styles, more specifically, is talking about for getting in his way. Kind of Sabu here is interesting because he's left out to dry by Shane Douglas, and he's targeted by Taz. And Taz breaks his neck. Gives him 3 receipts. He does a Kata Hajime, a Taz mission, and then he turns it into the Taz mission Tazplex, where he throws him over his head. So he chokes him out at first, throws him over his head. Second receipt is just like a big, I think they said it happened in Brooklyn or something like that. Cost him a match or something like that, and does another Tazplex yet again, drops him on his head for a second time, and then the straw that broke the camel's back and broke Sabu's neck was a Tazplex through a table. And what he does is interesting. This is how it relates to the storyline writing, is because Taz had his own belt, as a lot of wrestling fans are aware, the FTW Championship.
What you brought back in AEW.
Yes. I'm glad that they have a piece of ECW history, which is, I love it. But essentially Taz's whole premise was, he's going through everybody on the roster. Taz is a freight train from hell of momentum, and yet management is not giving him, he's not, like the champion's ducking him, or management's not giving him the title shot that he deserves. So he's going to have his own belt and defend it. So what he does here is, even though he breaks Sabu's neck, puts him through the table, he makes it clear right off the bat, his intentions are to go after Shane Douglas and that ECW World title. He puts a limp Sabu on top of him. 1, 2, 3. Sabu is the FTW champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then he straight up tells Shane Douglas that, I want that World Heavyweight title that's around your waist. Love the storyline writing. Love the build up to this match. So we get into this a little bit. Shane has Francine with him. Taz is out there alone. These two wrestle a good style, and it's not all just submissions.
Right.
I mean, there's great athleticism between both here. And I don't know why, and I'm not playing the comparison game here, but Shane reminds me, and it's funny because it's around the same time as the McMahon-Helmsley era. Shane reminds me of ECW's Triple H, really. And Taz is kind of like Stone Cold here. So there's a parallel between like Stone Cold taking on the corporation and Vince, but except I kind of look at Shane Douglas as Triple H a little bit here. Mm-hmm. But regardless of comparisons, bottom line is these two have a hell of a match. You can see the cracks in Shane Douglas's armor, though. Taz starts getting the better of him. Shane puts up a great fight, though. And towards the end, it's highlighted and capped off with some amazing pyro. And the lights go out. And in ECW, that means the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying Sabu is in the building. And he's got his neck brace on, so he's still recovering from that broken neck. But he still comes out there and kicks both their asses. And I liked that. He didn't just target Taz, and he didn't just target Shane Douglas. He targeted both. So Sabu comes out, does his spots, the chair leap, moonsault, puts them both through tables. Shane Douglas first on the outside, and then puts Taz through one on the inside. And then he basically leaves. He lets them sort it out. Shane Douglas tries to crawl back in, steal one, but Taz kicks out. Shane Douglas thinks he's retained. Shane Douglas starts throwing up the triple threat sign, hoping that Bam Bam or Candido will come out to help him, right? Hoping by, hook or crook, some way he's still going to retain this ECW World title after all the stuff they've been through in the match. And what happens next is Tammy Sitch comes out, and her and Francine get into it. Mm-hmm. And Francine ends up spearing Tammy Sitch. Like, this was a little weird because Francine gets out of the picture, right? But it's Tammy Sitch who takes a spear from Francine. And then in the ring, separating these two ladies is Shane Douglas and Chris Candido. Candido hops in the ring. And Candido, as you know, the history, triple threat was like Bam Bam, Candido, and Shane Douglas. And Shane Douglas thinks that, Candido's out there to ensure he's going to win the world title yet again. Or retain the world title, I should say. When we get a double cross here, and Candido punches Shane Douglas in the face, Taz hits him with a Tazplex, and then he gets him in the Nakata Hajime, the Taz mission, whatever you want to call it. And then for the first time, Taz is ECW World Champion, right? I'm pretty sure that was his first ECW World Championship win.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
because I think Joey Styles was talking about how if Taz wins, then he first ever, or his first time ever being ECW champion.
Yeah. So Taz picks up the win here. Good ending. Great match without going into all the spots. I wanted to highlight the interference at the end to make it even more high stakes and swerves across the board with the Candido punch. This one was really good. It's right there with right underneath, to me, the Super Crazy Tajiri and Lance Storm RVD match. It's right there, just about on par with them. but I wouldn't say as good as to me, the Tajiri match and Super Crazy match was the match of this card. But the main event delivered nonetheless, I feel like. Great watch. Great story with Taz achieving his goals at the end and becoming ECW World Champion. Well deserved.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one a solid 8.5 out of 10. Very solid.
I agree with everything you said. Great ending to this pay-per-view. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh, we're actually closer a lot more than I thought we were going to be. So
yeah.
What is your overall grade for this show?
Now, this is where it gets interesting because I know I've given pretty much solid ratings across the board besides the opener. The opener was the only time I was kind of like, okay, I hope we don't have any more like average, okay matches on the card. But no, it picked up really after the second match. I'm going to give it I feel like I'm not going to say this is a premier ECW show. It's a very good ECW.
Very good show. Yes.
I feel like that there's some ECW shows that are still better, but it does beat out, especially early ECW pay-per-views.
Yeah.
It beats out, I would say at least a good third or almost half of the ECW shows. So I'm going to give it a B, just a flat B. I'm not going to give it quite A level because I feel like there's like just some original ECW shows that are just so legendary that once they get into that A territory. So this is just a little step below for me, so I'm going to give it a B.
I do understand why you gave it a B. But I did really like this show. I think this is I've only seen 2 ECW pay-per-views, so obviously this is going to be my more favorite one of the two.
Yeah.
I did like Anarchy Rules. If you don't have listened to that one yet, please go listen to that. But I'm going to give it a solid A.
Okay. Wow.
Solid A.
So you like this one better than the Anarchy Rules one? I
did. Yes.
Wow.
In the Anarchy Rules, I think there was too many gimmicks. Okay. I think that one was the gimmick one, right? I don't fucking remember.
I don't know what it is, and I know you can't just base a whole show on one match, but man, that triple threat, like for Anarchy Rules that we covered, like that to me, I think we flop a little bit on or flip flop on these shows. Like you love this one more than Anarchy Rules, but I loved Anarchy Rules more than this one. So good differences there.
I'm looking at my notes for that one. There's, I did give 2 of the matches 10s, but 2 of the matches were also, under 7, whereas these ones for this show are all 7 and up. I can't justify giving it anything lower than an A.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we definitely both enjoyed this.
Yes.
Talking to Jake, for those who wanted to know a little bit about Jake's take on this show, Jake did tell me he really enjoyed this, and him and I, like I said, we had back and forth talking about Tajiri, especially young, like different attire, pay-per-view, American pay-per-view debut Tajiri, really, like ECW pay-per-view debut. That's a hidden gem on this card. I really feel like that delivered up there with the Taz, Shane Douglas, and RVD Lance Storm match. Like, I think that there are some matches that steal the show, and I swear people are going to think that I'm some like crazy Tajiri mark, like everything Tajiri does is gold to me. Not necessarily true. It's just really when 2 guys like Super Crazy and Tajiri put in that kind of work into their craft. I don't know what it is, but I've always really appreciated the Japanese style wrestling, the strong style, and then you mix that with the Lucha Libre and guys like Super Crazy. Man, you're gonna find hidden gems on some of these old ECW shows and other promotions out there too besides ECW. Not just saying ECW, but ECW was the first, I think, one of the first key American promotions that really highlighted which this is 1999. So at this point, WCW and WWF had caught on too. They're like, okay, there's a demand for this, So WCW had signed over guys like Rey Mysterio and Psychosis and Billy Kidman, and WWF had guys like S.A. Rios, and their cruiserweight division was growing, which, I mean, S.A. Rios, and they had a light heavyweight division instead of a cruiserweight division at first. And WCW had the cruiserweights. So, but yeah, solid all around. Another great ECW show. I felt like we got to enjoy, and the fans are voting for these shows they can vote on Instagram, right, Jared? And
Instagram, and then Facebook, if you're friends with me on Facebook.
Yeah. So continue to vote on these shows. We have more episodes coming up. I have here in my notes, thanks to Jared, that our next episode is going to be covering NXT Brooklyn 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then episodes 9 and 10. Episode 9 is going to be WWF St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
And episode 10 is a very special episode planned by Mr. Jared Weathers here that everybody's in the dark on right now. We've all had our guesses and been like, Jared, if one of us guesses, you got to tell us. And we all, like, at first I had a joke guess, which, is trying to be funny and stuff. And then I had a legitimate guess, but every single one of us was wrong. I mean, Jake, me, our special guest, Logan, E.T., all wrong. So excited to see what Jared has planned here in a couple episodes with that special 10th episode for us.
I promise you, man, all you guys are going to love it. I promise you.
That's right. Looking forward to that, definitely. But until next time, everybody, we want to thank you. Mention any socials, Jared, you want to throw out there before we hop off here? And
Jared Weathers YT on Instagram, Jared Weathers Official on Twitch and on YouTube. That's my name on both. And, of course, check out the podcast anywhere you get podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. We're on. That's where all the shows are hosted. And, of course, iHeartRadio.
That's right. Big shout out to iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
We appreciate iHeartRadio. Glad to be a part of their family.
Yeah, for real. But listen, guys, okay? I love doing this show. I love Justin. I know I've told you before, I love doing this show with you guys. I really do.
That's right. But join us next time as we cover NXT Brooklyn 1, and we will have a special guest host. E.T. Eric Tyler Mullins will be back with us.
That's right.
For that one.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks once again for joining the Reviewing All Comers, Episode 7, Guilty as Charged. And until then, don't go changing. We'll catch y'all later. And Jared, how do you feel about all the listeners out there? You got to hit them with your iconic line.
I love how I stole this line. Now it's mine all of a sudden. I just want to tell everybody, I love